So that gives us some baseline to look for, what we're looking at. Okay, we have one now that just came out. Oh, by the way, on that one, we also did we just did a $15,000 upgrade on this one. Homeland Security money again, sustainment. Brought our warranty back up. Also, the reach back, they have doctors and PhDs, people sitting around waiting for us to call them 24/7 to say, look, I've got Spectrum Max. It doesn't get anything in this. I need to send it to you and let you look at it. You tell me what it is. And I can send it to them by email. They'll look at the spectrum. They can come back, break it down, and tell me exactly what I'm dealing with. So that's always there. That's great. Also, they did some other things. They changed some algorithms in the computer programming. They also updated the process, of course. That was another $15,000 on top of that. Now, this one we just got. This is the only one of these in the state of Arkansas. It's called the Hazmat Gas ID. It's made by Smith Detection. It has a pump. It has a desorber tube that we can take and put inside. If you look at the thing on the top there, it actually screws apart, break the desorber tube, put it inside, seal it back up, attach it to the pump. We can go in, we can let it run for about 15 minutes in this room, take it back, hook it up to the machine. Right here, does the same thing. Heats that up, takes that material out, runs it across the spectrum analyzer, which is a laser and a diamond. Basically comes up for a spectrum match. It's got chemicals in it. It tells us what it matches. So it could possibly tell us exactly what product is in the air. Lower number of chemicals that have been worked on this one. The database, like I say, is so new. The database is only about 7,500 chemicals right now. They're working on it to keep it increasing. We'll get those updates as they come out, as they add to them. But it's just another great piece of equipment. We get a lot of calls to what we term sick buildings. You get one person sick, and then the next thing you know, well, that person didn't feel good. Well, then you got 5 people not feeling good, and then that spreads exponentially to 10 people not feeling more. So you've got to be careful when you do that kind of stuff, because you can end up clearing out a whole building, and it's just because somebody had a head cold that day and didn't feel good. But lots of times we do have people that take advantage of things like that. They want to go home for the day, so it spreads throughout the building, and everybody goes home for the day. So a lot of businesses count on us to be able to come in and give them positive results of some type. So this is another piece of equipment that we have. We do our own sampling. We follow the FBI sampling guidance that's been put out. Also, ASTM has put out another sampling guidance that's out, so we do follow both of those. We mainly follow the FBI because it's evidentiary. If we're going to go in and we're going to take a sample of something, like we go to the federal courthouse and we're sampling a letter, and we're going to do that, and we're going to do it in a format that can actually take that to court, so that person can be charged with the crime, because it is a crime. And that's one of the things that we have to have in our mind all the time. So we have different ways of taking samples. Everything is numbered and matches. That way, when we do our chain of custody, everything is numbered. It all follows the right path. Everything works from a clean side to a dirty side. Basically, that's it. Radiation detection. We just got this one. We've got 2 of them. Oh, by the way, I didn't tell you what the gas ID was. I guess it was like $72,000. So some more Homeland Security money. We're trying to do the best that we can with the money that we get to make sure that we have the latest, newest stuff to protect people. This was $31,000. We've got 2 of them. One on the bomb squad, one's on ours, because of course if we're worried about a dirty bomb, the bomb squad should have one, of course. We do support them because nowadays we are seeing a lot more chemicals being used as explosives. So once they get into that realm, they have to stop, drop back, come back to us to analyze. The Hazmat ID 360 it has all of the spectrum for all of the known explosives that are out there. So if they give me a small piece of it, I can run it and tell them exactly what it is. And that all can be used in a court of law against someone. So that's one thing. Just have a large scintillation probe. We're using Thermo Fisher's products. It's very good. We like it. As far as this one goes, when you put that in a backpack, you walk around like a War Memorial Stadium, somewhere like that, during a large venue, and it will point me in a direction of something that is radioactive at that time. One thing that we did find out is you've got to be real careful, because you will be picking up people that have just had a nuclear scan or something like that. You will be pointed in their directions, and you will have to talk to them and find out if they just had a procedure done, because they will show hot with that. That's how sensitive it is. There's been several times that we had to do that in some of the ball games. Of course, we do our own, for our detection, We have dosimeters, they're pocket dosimeters, they're electronic. It's just something that we wear to protect ourselves. Everybody knows about radiation and stuff. Some of the other detection equipment that we have something that's called the Uhura. Came out of the military. This does the same thing as the Hazmat ID 360, except one thing. It uses Raman technology. Therefore, it doesn't see water. Most of the time, the chemicals that we deal with are household products of some type, usually. Somebody's either mixing them, done something with them, they're trying to experiment, whatever. Therefore, most household products have lots of water in them. So when you use the Hazmat ID, one of the first things you're going to get is you're going to get this huge water lump, and that's going to be one of the main things that shows up as the product that you identify. I can run this take that same product, run it on the Uhura, which does not see water, Raman technology does not. If it gives me the same answer that I'm seeing within that same one on the 360, then I'm pretty much in a pretty good ballpark match. So that helps me to differentiate what my product is and what I'm actually working with. So this is about another $30-something thousand. Everything's $30-something thousand. Sort of like Harley Davidson, $100 Harley Davidson. Same thing. This is one of the brand new multi-rays that just came out. This is made by Ray Systems. This is a 4-gas plus PID. We always monitor for O2, CO, H2S, LEL, and of course we use a 10-6 lamp for our photoionization detection for our PLC. This one just came out. We were lucky that we got chosen here in Little Rock to be a beta tester, and they actually gave us. So that product right there is about $7,000. They're fading out the older version. This one is a lot more user-friendly. As you can see, the screen is very large. When we get over here and show you the suits that we use, you'll see why we need things that are very large and very loud to be able to see or hear what we're doing. Some of our suits, this is how we carry them. The red ones at the top are called a one-suit flash. They're made by St. Gobain. They are a suit that has actually a single skin material. It's very light, very flexible. We like it, but it has built-in flash protection. About 45 seconds to get away from a flash fire. In other words, the suits that we used to wear a long time ago, we had to put on something underneath for flammability protection, which all this is fire rated that I'm wearing right here. Then we put the suit on. Then we put an aluminized suit over top of that. So you end up with an inner glove, an outer glove, aluminized suit, and an aluminized glove on top of that. And then they want you to go down and turn the valve off. Okay, then you're looking through 3 visors. So that's the other problem that we have. Basically what we used to call the old suits before we got into the really good flash protection was just a body bag with a window. Because that's basically the same material as a body bag. It just had a window in it so you can see out. The only time that I know of firefighters that were killed and injured in a level A suit was at the Dixie Cold Storage Plant in Shreveport, Louisiana. They had an anhydrous ammonia leak. They went in to shut off a chiller valve at the very top of a cold room. They were going to use an electric forklift. What is ammonia? What is anhydrous ammonia rated at? It's rated as a non-flammable gas, is it not? It carries a green plaque for us out of transportation. But anhydrous ammonia just barely falls out of the flammable range. Then the ammonia industry pushed very hard to get it rated as a non-flammable gas. You get it in the right range and you add the right spark, it will burn, and it burns freshly. Killed one firefighter, he melted into the suit. The other one was trying to put it out. He thought he was putting his buddy out. It happened to be a stainless steel door, and he was seeing himself on fire. He was beating on it, thinking that he was trying to put his buddy out. It was himself. Luckily, he saw one little crack of light at a door and was able to get outside. He retired from the department with about 75% third-degree burns. So, our business is not easy, but we still do it every day. We love it. 2 different types of suits we wear, level A, level B. The level B, which you had a picture of earlier, when you put that mask with it, that's a level C, what we call level C protection according to NFPA standards. Okay? So you can take that B, make it a C with type of respiratory protection. Take that B, add an air pack to it. Now I'm protected for splash protection from liquids as long as it's compatible to the suit and the air pack. The level A, that's our one suit flash. We'll get into that here in a minute. Show you how putting it on. It takes at least one person to help someone get into a suit. That's what it looks like when it's fully done. Basically, it's for something that was splash. This is what we would wear normally to do decon. If we came over here, something was wrong, this is probably what you'd see us dressed in, and ask y'all to politely get naked and we'd wash you down. Anybody here ever had any chemicals spilled on?
Gasoline.
Did it feel good?
It burns.
Yeah, it burns, doesn't it? Yeah. Okay, we had a lady right up here at Zimmerman Exxon one night about 1:30 in the morning. She had been in a meth lab that exploded down on Roosevelt. The guys dumped her out over here because she had stuff all over her. We get the call. The engine company just goes on a rescue. That's all the way the call came in, was rescue. Hazmat, nothing was said. They get there, they find out what's going on. They call for us. We get over there and get to talking to her. She's doing the heebie-jeebie jump up. She's got chemical on her. It's not feeling good. So I said, let's not worry about it. It's a life safety issue. We're exempt from EPA regulations as long as we know where it went. That's fine. For life safety, we can do it right here in the parking lot. So I was going to tell one of the guys to get one of the smaller tents out so we could give her some privacy. And I said, okay, ma'am, I'm going to need you to get naked. And then I turned to my guy and said, this is what I need you to get. When I turned back, she had stripped fuck ass naked. She wanted that stuff all the time. There we are in Zimmerman Exxon, and I got a naked woman standing there. And I've got a guy fixing the deconner that hadn't been on the fire department for 30 days. He put his goggles on, was like, what I do now. So, you know, we always hear in our business, when you talk to people that's like, well, we're going to need you to get naked. Most people say, no, you ain't getting beaten up. You get chemicals on you, I promise you, you'll get naked. You will have a problem with it. She proved that. Now, level A, this is totally encapsulated. The air pack's going to go on the inside of the suit. We're going to zip him up in that. He has his own atmosphere inside. Okay? We always take our own air with us. We wear 60-minute packs. That gives us an hour worth of air. Probably about 25 minutes worth of work time when you're really working, depending. So you got to watch out, how far did I have to walk to get in? How far do I have to walk to get back out? I've got to go through decon. So all those factors have to be taken into the timeline that you allow them to work. So sometimes we don't get a lot of work. We got to keep sending people in and in, back and over. So anyway, he's doffing this. As you can see, it takes about 2 people to help get into this suit. Once he's in, there he is, body bag with a window. This is at Station 11. This is my technician that works with me on my unit. He so graciously in the 100-degree temperature did this for me. But as you can see, it doesn't take long. You'll start sweating a whole lot really quick. I've taken these suits off and actually lifted the glove up and just poured water completely out. When you get into these, they don't breathe. There's nothing. Now, if you did happen to have an air pack malfunction problem, the good thing is the suit will blow up. There is breathable air in there. You get about, if your air pack's not working at all, if you take your mask off inside, you can get about 5 to 10 minutes worth of breathable air inside the suit. That'll give you enough time to make egress and get to a safe zone where we can get you out. Some people like to carry knives and, cut them out. We do all kinds of leak control, from anything from a residential gas line to a 2-inch line. We can crimp that. I'll show you that. We do all kinds of high pressure lines. We can do drainage. We can do cars. We've got all kinds of plugging and patching equipment that comes from any realm of anything, from a screw to a golf tee. We can do anything with those, believe it or not. You can stop a lot of leaks with those little things like that. Gas line squeeze off tool. This will work up to a 2-inch line. Now you notice most of them are polyethylene. The lines are, gas lines are. Hey, we can jump down there, we can screw that on there, we can have the leak stop just like that. Even before center point can get there. They kind of like us doing that. So it saves them a lot of time and effort, a lot of phone calls. We use a lot of non-sparking tools. We carry a full set. As you can see there, we can cut you up, Dexter style if we need to. So we've got everything. But most of this stuff, like I said, is going to be used in a flammable atmosphere. It just keeps us safe from having to create a spark in there. Decon. We were very lucky. Anybody here remember the CSEP program? Know your zone? Right? CSEP's gone. It's over with. We have destroyed all the chemical weapons in the world. Wait a minute, no, that's not right. We destroyed 13% of the stockpile. Don't think that there's not any other chemicals down at Pine Bluff Army, because there is. Okay? If they destroyed all the chemical weapons down there, they wouldn't have people standing around with machine guns every day trying to check you to see what you have to go for. We were very fortunate. This county was a participant in that. We were really treated with one of the main ones because we had all the hospitals. Something that happened down there, everybody was coming here, and we knew that. So we participated in a very large decontamination program for them. The county, which I work for too, I work for Pulaski County Emergency Management on my days off. I'm the hazmat coordinator for the county. We happen to have a hazmat team for the unincorporated county, plus we take care of Maumelle, Jacksonville, Sherwood, Wrightsville. We take care of those communities because they can't afford to start up their own freestanding hazmat. So in this one county, there's 3 hazmat teams. You got Little Rock, North Little Rock, and the county. And we work very well together. We back each other up all the time, so we do a lot of work that way. All this equipment that you're going to see here was purchased by CSEP, and it has been left as a legacy in the community when it finished. We never had a single incident at the Pine Bluff Arsenal. They had a 100% success rate with destroying the munitions, which we had rockets, landmines, and some mortars down there. Our 2 biggies were rockets and landmines. We had sarin and VX. Those were our 2 biggies here. Then we had a bunch of ton containers of mustard. So anyway, there are 3 of these trailers out in the community. There's one in Jacksonville, there's one in Sherwood, and there's one in Little Rock, there's one in North Little Rock, and let's see, we got one up at the county up the hill up here. So there's 3 in the unincorporated counties, and then there's some in the cities. This is a diesel heater. This actually runs off of diesel fuel. It also heats the water, so you don't have to take a cold shower. The water that comes out of our fire hydrants on an average time temperature is usually in the 50s. It's pretty cold water. When it hits you, you know it. So we don't want to do that, especially in winter time. So they gave us these heaters. They gave us a tent. Down here in the very center, you see this little cart. Behind it is a huge tent. It's all pre-plumbed. All we got to do is set it, blow it up, hook it up, walk away from it. It blows up. All the plumbing and piping and everything is already inside of it. All we got to do is hook the hoses to the heater, plug it into a generator, and we're working with a full decon line. We can do non-ambulatory and we can do ambulatory. So that's one of the good things for us. So there's the tent. It's huge. That's all I've got as far as the equipment we've got now. Do y'all have any questions about what we do or how we do it? Or I mean, y'all are a lot smarter than I am with chemistry.
I just have a question about, do you do any type of remediation, and what kind of things you do with respect to remediation?
We do small amounts of remediation. If it's a single vehicle accident or just a minor traffic accident, that we have the normal transmission fluid, oil, radiator fluid, that kind of stuff, yes, we'll go ahead and remediate that. What we do is we'll go out, we'll do the absorbent, pick it all up, put it in a bag, tie that bag, we give it back to you because it's your waste. It's not my waste, it's your waste. And the Arkansas Department of Environmental Quality has says that is perfectly fine, and it's perfectly all right for you to throw that in a dumpster too. It's perfectly all right for you to put that into the waste stream because over a period of time, that is going to heat up and be gone. It's not going to be there anymore. And it's such small amounts, that's okay. Now we start getting into 18-wheeler size leaks. Like I had one the other day, a guy ran over a piece of angle iron on the interstate, put a hole about that big in his saddle tank. Well, he waited an hour before he called us. So, you know, he just filled up, that's almost 200 gallons out of one tank on the ground, and he's bleeding off of his feeder line from the other one. So finally, he decided to call us. I've got it all in a ditch. It's run out on the interstate, then into a ditch road and everything. I'm not touching that. His insurance company is going to have to pay for the remediation of that spill. This last one that we had to nail in last fiber, they have a contract with Safety Clean to do their remediation. They came out to handle the remediation. Remediation is huge dollars because it's got to go to certain landfills. Right now we're in a crunch. You may see the news last night on Channel 4. There's a website that you can go to and you can see all of the uncleaned up meth labs that have been busted in this state because there is no money to clean them up. The federal government has cut off the DEA's money for cleanup. So what do? They go in, they take what they want for evidence, lock the place back up, and walk away, and leave it with the chemicals and everything else sitting inside the house. So there's no more cleanup done on meth labs. That's fixing to be a problem for us. I can see that right now. Because all it's going to take is someone to say that they got sick or somebody be injured for public safety. I can't walk away from it then. I'm either going to have to, the city is going to have to come up with the money to clean that up because it's a public safety concern once that happens. So just another unfunded thing that's fixing to come down the pipe are all these meth labs. Luckily, our meth labs have dropped here in Little Rock. Yes, sir.
What happens if you come across a substance that your instrument tells you is biological, which you know you have to send off? So how do you, what's the wait time? How do you know how to collect it?
We're going to go ahead and collect it in the fashion that we were taught by the FBI for a biological sample, which what really truly what they want us to do is to take all of it that we can get. And that's what we'll do. Anybody that's inside of that, we're going to know who they are, where they were, things like that. And then we're going to recommend that they be seen by a physician, and if so be, go ahead and start prophylactic antibiotic treatment. That's the standard of care on that.
What do you do in case of chemical fires? How do you decide what to use, what it is?
If, depending on, for most of us, most of the chemical type fires that we deal with on most hand are flammable liquid fires. Right now we've got a big worry because there's so much more ethanol being used today, and there's so much more ethanol being transported. They had a huge ethanol spill over in North Little Rock. We don't carry hardly any polar solvent foam. Therefore, we had to gather from all over. They called us, believe it or not, North Little Rock called us and said, hey, do you know anybody that's got a large stockpile, or can you get a hold of several departments that have some polar solvent foam? We ended up putting a pallet together of polar solvent foam and got it to them so they could suppress the vapors off that ethanol. But those are the type of fires that we deal with on the most part. Now, when you go down to the airport or something like that and you're dealing with more exotic metal fires, they carry the extinguishers that are made for the more exotic fires, the flammable metal fires and things like that. We did have an explosion not too long ago at the chemistry lab at Parkview, right before school started. The chemistry teacher was going through, he was brand new at that school, and he was going through their inventory, trying to see what was going on. He had a pickle jar with a screw top lid that he thought was glycerin. That's what he told me. When I got there, he said, man, I don't know what happened. That it was glycerin, and it exploded, and he had singed himself, and a bunch of other stuff. Well, okay, fine, no problem. He was working around the sink with it. I said, let's go in. So we went in and looked at it, looked around. When I found the lid, the jar had disintegrated. The plastic thing had just blown completely apart. When I got the lid off of it, it had a big K on top of it. To me, that water don't mix very well. What a little bit of chemistry I got, When I went out there and I sat down next to him on the curb and said, I found that lid on that. I said, it had a K on it. He goes, that explains it. So, but that's one of those times when a fire that's there and gone, just that quick. So. Anything else? Yes, sir.
When you mentioned going to a company and testing the air, do you just have like a surcharge that you do that?
No. No, we do not. We do not charge. We don't charge. It's a public safety issue to us. There was as a matter of fact, there was an election held in '94, I think it was '93, and one of the ballot initiatives was, do you want a fully staffed hazmat unit? And the people voted yes. So that's a service that we provide. We can only do so much though cost-wise. But those type of things we're going to take care of because, we're living in a world of terrorism, of course, you know that. Arkansas is not that big of a, big bullseye on it for being Arkansas. But, the other thing is, nowadays that we look at, they've hit the bigger places. We know that. They've been to D.C., they've been to New York, There's been other smaller things happen in Austin. We had a guy that flew a plane into a building over there because he was, didn't like the IRS, which one of us doesn't? But anyway, it's going to come down to availability, how easy, soft to target our places, and that's going to bring us down to the heartland of America. You know what I'm saying? And that's something that we need to be prepared for, and that's stuff that we think about. We're always thinking bad thoughts. That's just what they pay us to do.
I want to go back to this remediation thing
Yes.
one more time. So you have a little car accident, you get the oil spill, you guys clean that up. Let's say you go to this tanker guy that has, spills 200 gallons of gasoline on the freeway. Who deals with that large of a spill?
It would be there are a set number of contractors that are within our community. We have, you got Taz Environmental that is in Bryant. You've got Waste Services. You've got BMP Industries. There's 3 or 4 different companies. HEPACO is here. Like I said, we don't recommend, we don't do a rotational basis. Like for record services, they do a rotation. For cleanup contractors, we don't, because you're dealing with the insurance companies and everything that have to sign a contract. So what we do, we have a list, and all of them are highlighted that are in this area. We say, here's a list of local contractors that can do your cleanup. You pick one, and just let me know who's coming and when they'll be here.
What's the response time for something like that?
It can be anywhere from, you can get a guy in a pickup truck there to have a contract signed in about 45 minutes. Now, to get the rest of the people there, it can take a couple of hours. And depending on how long that is, what we'll do is once the environmental cleanup company gets there, we pretty much turn it over to them. Depending on what the type of chemical is or what we perceive as the public threat, we'll stay there. Like we had a tanker truck 3 years ago of acid overturned on Interstate 30 between 630 and the south, between 65th and the south interchange on the opening day of school of all things. That was great. We had Interstate 30 closed for about 2 hours on the opening day of school. But anyway, because of the amount, the type of product, the public health threat, where it was located, we stayed there for 17 hours and assisted that contractor to make sure that nothing was done wrong to further impact A, the public, B, the environment, or the workers. Because if they get hurt, guess who's got to come take care of them? We do. And sometimes contractors, just being honest, sometimes they're about the dollar. Because that's what they're in business for. And I don't blame them. They're in it for the business of making a dollar. But you don't make dollars at the expense of safety, because that ends up costing me having to do something with my people. So we watch them pretty close. That's one of our things that we do.
Do you come back, like in that case, you stay the whole time, but if you don't stay the whole time, does somebody come back and check?
Yes, on that one out there, I turned it over to the Arkansas Department of Environmental Quality. They have 2 emergency response people, Dean Vanderhoff and Mike Corrett. I informed them of the spill, let them know where it was. They go back, and I told them who the contractor was, and I gave them all the spiller information. I get all that information. So there ain't no way they can't tell us they didn't do it or whatever. It's all documented. They'll go back later, look at it, see if it was cleaned up according to standards. If it's not, then they make them come back out and do it again. Anything else? Yes, sir.
Let's say in one of our research labs we have a spill that requires you guys to come out.
Yes,
what
sir.
are some things that we can do that makes your job easier?
Depending on what the product is, restrict access. That's the biggest thing for us. We don't want, account for everybody, restrict access so we know we're not missing someone. Then the other thing is have a pretty good drawing or an idea to tell us how to get to where we need to go. Like I say, we've been to the freeway medical to the 5th floor up there 3 times. So it gets to be old hat up there. We know what we're going to deal with and what we need. a little bit of sodium bicarb, put it down, let it react, pick it up, be done. You know, off the packet, let them take it from there. So, you know, what I would like to do, and I've got so many new people in here. I've been out here at this station since 1985. I've seen UALR change a lot. By the way, just to let y'all know, my daughter is a graduate of this school, and it's a great school. Her husband is a graduate from this school. So I grew up in this neighborhood. I grew up at 1316 South Fillmore Street, which is right up the road here a little ways. I used to walk to this place in the summertime. They had a program for 20 bucks. They would teach you how to swim. They would teach you how to play tennis. They would do all this stuff in the summertime. And all three of me and my brothers, we signed up and went to that. Paid 20 bucks to spend all summer down here having a blast. So this place has been in my life for a long time. I've been around UALR for a long, long time. Even back when it was Little Rock Junior College, but that's how old I am. So I would like to bring my people down here, and I'd like to do a real good walkthrough of the chemistry part. Chemical storage, the labs, you know, I'd love to see all that. Just for the last time I think that we were down here for two things. One time we were down here for a bromine problem. Had some bromine that went bad in the basement, I think. Somebody was doing an experiment with bromine or something. Or I don't know, some time ago. And bromine gas filled the buildings. Then the other thing was picric acid. We were down here and blew up some picric acid not too long ago. That was fun. Yeah, that was exciting, wasn't it? Things make a big old whoo. Got any ether around here? We can show you that one too. So, but we'd like to do that. We'd like to do that on all three shifts. We work 24 on, 48 off, so there's three groups of us. Don't have to come. And if I could do that, I'd appreciate it. Leslie, okay. You're the person? All right, good deal. Great.
We lose the room at 1:30, so we need to go ahead and clean up. Nobody has any last minute questions?
Thank you for letting me come.
What? Oh, okay, sorry.
We're not the biggest community in the world, but we have a lot of resources that even larger cities don't always have.